Howdy, howdy, howdy. How's everyone out there tonight? Bob is doing the political show today. We're doing politics, Canadian politics after dark, biker edition. That's what we're calling it. Howdy, Chris. Howdy, Steve. Howdy, everybody. The real truth. Okay, what do we got here? I'm Iron Ranger. Good evening. Hope you hung in there. I'm sorry I'm late, everybody. Son wouldn't up my computer to me, the prick. And yeah, I have heard of that one, my friend. And I heard it. Well, I didn't hear about that one, but that's just as well. Uh, 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 uh. So, with a statement like that, why do you put so much time and effort into bombing my channel if you don't like bikers, bro? It doesn't make any sense. I don't know why. I'm not even a biker anymore, but sometimes when I read you the shit you write, I just get fucking, what is that guy's problem, for fuck's sakes? Hey, Steve, what's going on, bro? Hey, Chris, how are you, man? I hope you guys are still hanging in there. I'm so sorry I was late. Like I say, goddamn fucking son. He didn't want to give me my computer, man. Okay, you guys here? Okay, Wayne, how are you, brother? Alex, how are you? Good to see ya. Oh, and the real truth, you're still welcome. Hey, Rick, I hope you're still here hanging in, brother. Looks like you're getting a little bit frustrated with those hospital people, are you? I hear ya. Frank, good to see you, bro. I hope all you people I'm saying hi to are still close or are coming back or are you still here? Hey, Grant, good to see you too, brother. Always a pleasure. Right on. We got a good crowd in here waiting tonight. Happy to see all of you guys, man. That's great, man. Okay, yeah, you're back in there, eh? It's gonna be like a seesaw, a fucking up and down, back and forth of this thing, huh? But at least they gave you a new set of lungs. Now they just gotta fucking fine tune them, I suppose. So tonight on the old political show, hello, Mountain Woman. Good to see you too. See, I was late so that Mountain Woman could be on time. Honest. That's all I was thinking. So I was cruising around some other Canadian politics YouTube channels, and there's a guy out there called the Goose. The Goose CA. I kind of like his stuff. He seems to stick down the middle, kind of where I think I am anyway, where I try to be. And he's got a video out there called anyways, let's just put on the goddamn screen so you can see it. I made it a lot easier. Alberta separatism is a US-backed psyop for oil. I kind of agree with him. Fill in the goggles, Frank. That's only for Tales from the Clubhouse, bro. And I never do those ones live. They're always taped, Tales from Clubhouse. They're always taped. I haven't done one for a while though. And somebody sent me a good topic for one. So I'm just putting it together in my head. It'll show up there pretty soon, I think. Barbie, good. I'm glad you came because I wanted your opinion on that. Seeing as you are living through it in Alberta, in the middle of Alberta, is it a psyop? Or are they just out and out trying to buy the politicians out there? Like what are they doing? We always know that oil's always the bottom line. It was the bottom line in Iraq, Kuwait, at the first round of the Middle East war. And it was the second round. This is still why they end up in Iraq, but I don't know why they didn't get their oil. But they're not the smartest, I guess. And this thing in Venezuela, what's in Venezuela? Oil. And now, of course, what we got going in Alberta. What do we got in Alberta? Oil. I sense the trend. I think it might have something to do with oil. So let's Let's watch a bit of what this guy's got to say. Discuss it as we go. So this is a start briefing.
It's all right here in this 40-page blueprint from Alberta's largest separatist organization. And the best part, they already got Trump on board. It is about to get real. So for the sake of national unity, let's find out what these separatists really want and see if we can't come to some common ground as Canadians.
Can you guys all hear it okay? And yeah, that's crazy. The U.S. buys 4 million barrels a day already. But see, now they want it cheaper, I think, is what we're going to find out in this guy's video. Hey, Newfoundland, good to see you, bro. You just got here at the start. Very nice. So what'd you say? Just looking for the facts on it, though. So far, it's just clickbait I've found. All right, well, let's see what this cat says. As long as you guys can hear it, we'll continue.
Hi to my Aunt Darlene, Uncle Rocco, all my cousins, and everyone else in Alberta. I'm Aaron Hagen McKay. Welcome to the Goose.
But I like his videos. I've watched a few of his videos. I didn't know he did them all like loops.
Today, I come to you in the traditional dress of our people whenever a dorky Toronto man wants to appeal to Albertans, because we need to talk about Alberta separatism. Recent polls show only 20% of Albertans say they would definitely vote for Alberta separation, compared to over 50% who say they would definitely vote to stay, which sounds like a referendum is doomed to fail. Meanwhile, the separatist Alberta Republican Party can't even come second in an election. Also, Alberta is on treaty land, signed with the Crown of Canada, not Alberta, because here in Canada, law comes from a magic hat. So, is this issue being blown out of proportion?
See, that's what I thought too. I thought all the polls I saw, the majority of Alberta wants nothing to do with separating from the rest of the country. And they don't buy sweet crude. And yeah, exactly. We don't sell good oil. Our oil is junk. It's still full of all that fucking sand and shit in it, right? I live in a border town in Canada. We buy gas from the Middle East, and the people who sit across the border in Michigan cannot buy Canadian gas. And then if we go to Michigan to buy our gas, by the time you do our exchange and everything, we haven't really saved any money. You know what I mean? Now, a few dabs, get the dabs going. You know what I mean? I'm doing good, real truth. Yeah, you imagine? Okay, hey, Mark, thanks for coming in, man. I appreciate you being here. Let's see what else this cat's got to say. But that's what I thought, too, is the majority of Albertans want nothing to do with separating from Calgary. So why are they pushing this referendum like it's going to be
No,
okay?
Dismiss Alberta separatism at your own peril, JJ McCullough. Sure, Alberta separatism has no distinct culture like Quebec, the Basque, or the Welsh. But those separatists in Alberta have one thing those losers never had. Oil money, baby! For example, this is the Free Alberta strategy, Alberta's Project 2025, designed to make separation easier in the future by creating Alberta versions of federal programs. It was written by Alberta Premier Danielle Smith's former Chief of Staff Rob Anderson, along with University of Calgary professor Barry Cooper, and some guy named Derek. They want to secure self-determination for the people of Alberta within a reformed confederation, or if necessary, as an independent nation, because Alberta's treatment within Canada has become intolerable. That's why they want to offload the burden of Ottawa's tyrannical economic policies, like the federal carbon tax, the No New Pipelines Act trademark, and attempts by federal agencies to regulate our province's energy sector in any manner. And if it seems like they're weirdly obsessed with hitting climate policies like a political...
Now, I don't know if this guy's going to get into it. He said, I heard somewhere that when they sell the oil out of Alberta, 60% of the money stays in Alberta. Is Trump in the Epstein files? He's all over it. He was helping run it. Unknown real one. Good to see you, bro. Thanks for dropping in. Fuck Alberta crude, better than Michigan water. Fucking Yankees. It's a radical base. The vast majority will always be part of Canada. That's what I think, too. Yeah. U.S. gallon small. Yeah. 100% he is. Smoke him if you got him, you know it. Well, we can't say fuck Alberta and Quebec. Jesus. Rob Anderson is in your writing. That's the guy who wrote that thing. It does sound like Project 2025, doesn't it? Well, Alex, if that's what it was, I don't know why they just don't bring it up, because I think if they're screaming for it and they think it's going to improve our economy that much, then get your money off, get your hands off your wallet and build one. You know what I mean? Hey, thanks for that, bro. I'm glad to hear that. Unknown real truth. Oh, well, you're from Alberta too. Good. We got 2 people in here from Alberta. It's only this one. Well, yeah, I think Trump said it more
Pinata, that may have something to do with the fact that their publisher is the Alberta Institute, a right-wing fossil fuel-funded think tank in the Atlas Network. Atlas as an Atlas shrugged, the only book to create more unfuckable twerps than The Lord of the Rings. The Atlas Network has 11 organizations in Canada and over 500 worldwide, including the Heritage Foundation, publishers of America's Project 2025, called Project 2025, currently halfway through turning the US into a techno-feudal fascist dystopia, or as they call it, freedom. The Atlas Network is funded by fossil fuel interests like ExxonMobil and everyone's favorite half-alive villain duo, the Koch brothers. And oh boy, does their hatred for climate policy burn like the undying fire of 1,000 suns. And when you know it, the largest oil sands company in Canada is Imperial Oil, majority owned by ExxonMobil. And who refines the bulk of Canada's oil? Koch Industries. Alberta separatism is a US-backed psyop for oil. That's it. That's why it's a big deal. Right now, social media is awash with disinformation and conspiracy theories, and honestly, some pretty dope AI slopaganda to manufacture consent for further American control over our resources.
He once gave Donald Trump a tour of his ranch. Now Alberta has a free trade deal and 3 new golf courses.
I paid $50,000 in taxes this year.
And what did Ottawa give you back?
A carbon tax and a lecture on pronouns.
He once left a barbecue early because someone brought Beyond Meat burgers.
They keep bringing in more people than our communities can manage. Crime is rising. It's not the Alberta I grew up in.
We're importing the problems of the third world.
He's never used some.
Geez, didn't we hear all those same slogans during the last U.S. presidential election? All those same things. They're bringing them up here now. Trump's full of fraud. He's a prostitute. Yeah, he's about the worst I've ever seen. We need those pure Canadian ice cubes. They do. Lieutenant, Lieutenant. Well, that's not a bad way to do it, no, girl. That'd be all right. You said it, Newfound. You're trying to privatize healthcare, RCMP, and pushing private schools. It sounds like everything that the right was screaming about during the last election. I don't want to be part of the U.S., but I would love to be able to cross the border one more time. Just go Key West. Yeah, me too. Aside from crossing the border and traveling through the states and seeing the people in the states, I don't want to be a part of the states. I don't want to. I definitely don't want to have that orange guy telling me what's going to happen. But he's already starting economic war with us anyway. You know, he's gone and decimated the auto industry in Ontario, and now they're going to come after us with the fucking oil in Alberta. Yeah, the Yeti ones, yeah. What's in my R80? Oh, okay, my Iron Ranger. Okay, I vote for the culture wall if they let them run for I don't know who that is. Gang, people like that play golf. They join country club, not a country gang. If a bunch of guys who love motorcycling, brother, join a motorcycle club, not a motorcycle gang. Woo, where'd you get that one from? We just need to build a pipeline right into Montana, right across the Coots where our truckers went to jail. Well, they really seem to think we need a pipeline out to the East Coast. I don't know why. We got a pipeline that goes right to Texas where they refine the oil. Hey, Gary, good to see you, bro. And apparently that's where the Koch brothers
Someone's
refine
pronouns
our oil.
and plans to keep it that way.
All right.
We could lead the world in energy, innovation, and freedom if we had our own country.
He doesn't believe in man-made climate change. He believes in Chinooks, cold snaps, and common sense.
Alberta must become an independent nation. Independence or collapse. The choice is ours.
Wow, doesn't that all sound familiar?
So is it working? I don't know. Where do you think all these American flags came from? Italy? But you may be wondering, why is this happening now? You may remember just days before Canada's 2025 election, Preston Manning, the Reform Party leader in the 90s, casually lobbed the grenade of Alberta separatism back into the national conversation with an op-ed in the Globe and Mail, warning that electing Mark Carney will bring back the specter of, get this, Alberta separatism. Oh, thanks for the warning there, Preston. You talk to your wife that way? Oh, sorry, hon. If you go on that business trip, we'll bring back the specter of me putting my grade A Alberta beef inside your sister again. Reform! No surprise, Preston Manning has his own Atlas Network think tank, the Canada Strong and Free Network. They hold a huge conference every year, putting a terrible strain on Grindr servers. They even stream it on Rumble because of course they do. And oh, look, it's Imperial Oil and Coke Industries again. What a coincidence.
Same guys.
Around that time, Alberta Premier Daniel Smith, with the subtlety usually reserved for cliche mob goons and bird memes, sent this list of demands that must be met by the next prime minister or else there'll be a national unity crisis. Almost all of the demands were straight from Big Oil's wish list. Then Mark Carney won, and Alberta passed Bill 54 days later, which made it way easier to force a referendum by lowering the signature threshold and increasing the time to gather them. Now you just need 10% of the people who voted in the previous provincial election to sign your Citizens Initiative petition, and baby, you got a referendum stew going.
Fuck, that's horrible, man. They got to quit trying to rip our country apart. It costs so much money, and then at the end of it, they always vote to stay. Because cooler heads do prevail at some point. But they spend all this money, all these ads are going to go around. It's going to be a pain in the ass. Look up Sleeping on the Blacktop. What do you got? I was doing my time visiting us for 9. I do it. Yeah. Well, I think we have to because it's, nothing against the American people, but got to show Trump, especially, that our country, we have enough resources. We don't need another country to help us through. What are we going to have to import? Sugar, orange juice, coffee? Not much. Everything else we can produce up here. Be a nice time to start building our factories again that they shipped overseas. Well, you should have if you didn't. I've had the RCMP had their tentacles into me once or twice. I don't know where that guy got that hat. I'm gonna say at the Rainbow Shop at the Calgary Stampede. In BC, Canadians used to work all over town. Now they're gone, and immigrants work everywhere. Homeless is everywhere. Canadians are dying daily from trying to fend. So you think, which I agree with, that the immigrants that have overstayed their paperwork have been snatching up our jobs. They started with the trucking industry, and now it's going to be all the jobs, man. I used to see so many F. Trudeau flags, and I see an F. Danny flags. Well, that's good. I'm glad that they're coming to their sense of that crazy woman. Because she would sell Alberta to Imperial Oil if she could. Yeah, Michael J. Fox, he might have. It's the only cowboy hat we have in Canada, K. Wayne, you know? So they have enough signatures to call the referendum. They're going to hold a referendum, aren't they? Politics' best gimmick is to break the people's fear. Yeah, that's right, Mark. Keep them scared, and they'll do what they want. That's what I thought, too. He borrowed that hat from Bruce Willis somewhere. I think I saw that hat in an advertisement for the Village People once. Supreme Court in BC just destroyed the real estate market in Vancouver. Now, see, I haven't followed that one either, man. So I want to try to get through a province at a time so I understand what's going on more across the rest of the country. I already know what's going on in Ontario. It's all native land. They're giving it back. Yeah, but they can't give a whole bunch of land back. Not if it's already been developed. $750 billion of construction has already ground to a halt in Vancouver. Wow, eh? Go on, people, let's go ahead and hit the like button. You got it, Paneliverse. Thank you for that reminder. Now you got to fuck you. I don't think you don't sound like you like the Liberals at all, Mountain Woman. Hey, bud, check with Lost Gypsy Nation, all black one. Yeah, I've interviewed them. Bro, you got to quit trying to tell me how to run my channel, bro. I've interviewed, that was the very first interview on this channel I ever did was Lost Gypsies. Yeah, I'm friends with them. Yeah, there are also 1,000 refugees in Canada collecting $240 a day from hotel rooms and food. I don't know if that's true. I think that might just be a bit of a lie. They are putting them up in hotel rooms. That is true. I don't know if they give them men at work cost you. Yeah. But anyway, if the refugees in our country said that we take them in on refugee status, we've got to stand up to what we said we'd do. It's part of it. But the problem is they got to teach them English and they got to teach them something and get them out there and fucking work. We can't just give them a check for the next 30 years and think it's going to fucking work out. Well, so cool weirdo panda, the torture clown. He's live right now. Crazy dude. You bikers will get a kick out of it. No, I haven't seen that. She tried selling coal mines to Australia. Wow. Now, yeah, see, that's what happens when our government gets in and signs too many papers, is when there's back out clauses, we still got to pay it. Oh, the $240 a day? Like I say, I don't know. I didn't look into it, but it just seems like it's a lot of fucking money to give to somebody when they don't, you know what I mean? They only give a single white person on OW in Ontario $600 fucking for the whole month. That's rent, food, and lodging and everything included for that $640. So where would they get the number $240 a day for somebody from another country? It doesn't make any sense. They gave property in Richmond, BC, right by the airport, back to a native band. There's land claims all over BC. Yeah, I gotta get into the BC news. You're right. Yeah, that's right. That's the whole thing about Alberta. It's never had Liberal fucking control. So anyone that wants to cry about the Liberals, they didn't do that to Alberta. You're 100% right on that. Thank you, Mom Iron Ranger. You're right, guys. That's why I bolted back to BC to make some big dough. I hope it's working. Nobody's smart in the West likes the Liberals. I'm not telling anybody. Okay, that's good. Real solid dudes, ride their bikes very soft. Yeah, I know. I like I say, I spoke to them. They are good people. That's why I held my first interview for them, 100%. That's why I did that. 140 for the room, 100 to eat. Oh, that's how they figured it. Okay, I get you. We like live NDP and Liberals. Where we live, NDP and Liberals are not well liked. We think Canada's fucked. Every industry is gone. Oil, forestry, mining, fisheries, and so on. But again, Carney's allegedly kicking all those industries back into high gear. So I don't know if it's the Liberals that fucked all those industries, but it might have been. We did have Trudeau for 9 years. Plenty of jobs in Canada and America. Seems the generation workers are lazy, lame, want a free ride type, strong work ethic is key. Now, I don't know, Mark. There's not as, like, I own my own business, and fucking, they're even just owning your own business on fucking, on heating and cooling, which is obviously something we need to all through the year, and it's not fucking, it's up and down, bro. Sport lost just by nation. Yes, sir. Is it time out and get the hills and follow the bees? I don't think the average Newfoundlander. I don't think like the average Newfoundlander. I don't like the Liberals. Fuck Trudeau. What's going on Niagara Falls? 2,000 rooms occupied. All right, let's see what else this cat's got to say about this. Fuck.
But one detail of Bill 54 went underreported. It allowed corporate donations during elections and increased the amount third-party advertisers can spend. Canada's version of super PACs. Because nothing says improving democracy like flooding elections with dark money. Third-party advertisers like Rebel News routinely host...
I fucking hate that. That's what's got all the politics and the mess it's in, is letting big companies buy elections and in return by our politicians. So we're not being ruled by fucking, and our politicians aren't supposed to rule us anyway. We're supposed to vote for the person that represents our views and will move the country in the direction that we want to. That's why we vote for this said person. And it's all fucking dark money and fucking flood bank accounts. It's not even fucking democracy anymore. But what do we do when the oil and gas prices go down again? That's the problem. All they have to do is OPEC drop the price of oil under a certain amount per dollar, and our oil costs more to get it out of the ground than it sells for. That's how come we always get fucked on the oil industry. We can't depend the whole country on one industry. It doesn't even make sense. They would get up to quit. Country's been for sale for years. Probably. Ontario's all dirk everywhere. Do you guys have call for? No. That's not happening, bro. I wouldn't trust him unless his name is Pancho or Paco. It's the hat. It's the hat. Yukon threw out the Liberal with 0 seats last election. The new party, the Yukon Party, took most of the seats. Good. That's what we need. We need some different things. The flip-flop brigade took over trucking. Now taking over Tim Hortons. Exactly. And that was the first 2 fucking industry. Well, the trucking is a big industry that they wrecked.
Alberta separatists while also selling I Stand with Trump mugs. Like, this couldn't be any more obvious. Like, why not just sell autographed copies of his letter to Epstein? So who's working on the Alberta separation petition? The Alberta Prosperity Project, or APP. They're Alberta's largest separatist organization, and they say they have over 200,000 people who have already committed to signing their separation petition once it drops. But for people who talk a big game about sovereignty and becoming independent, the Alberta Prosperity Project sure likes to talk about becoming a U.S. state. Like, imagine if Quebec separatists were like this. We have a distinct society and must become independent. But also maybe we join up with Vermont because Bernie has raised Tabernacle. No, it doesn't work that way. Recently, the APP launched their plan for what happens after they win a referendum. But before we dive into that, I need to educate my fellow non-Albertans on why separation might seem like a good idea. Albertans have legitimate grievances against Ottawa, some of which are baked into the fabric of the federal government. But let's be real, the number of people who want to separate because of seats on the Supreme Court or representation in the Senate is exactly 0. This is entirely about he who controls the spice, except with giant trucks instead of sandworms. He who controls the spice controls the universe. The original insult from Ottawa started in the 1980s under Prime Minister Pierre Elliott Trudeau, pictured here posing for the father-son issue of Bilingual Vampire. He introduced the National Energy Program, or NEP, an attempt to make Canada energy independent, increase Canadian ownership in the oil sector, and provide people with cheap fuel in the wake of multiple oil crises in the 1970s. But all of that was kind of at odds with oil companies maximizing profits. This was seen as federal overreach and was highly disruptive to Alberta's oil industry. Eventually, the NEP was abandoned, but many Albertans permanently put the Trudeaus in their burn book for trying to make gas cheap. And then 40 years later, for making gas more expensive. Later, free trade agreements like NAFTA geared much of Canada's economy into raw materials for the US, making us super dependent on them while crowding out other industries. Canada is being used as a resource colony, and Alberta is no exception. Oil and gas, mining and quarrying is 25% of Alberta's economy, on par with petrostates like Iran. Practically all of Alberta's oil goes to America. 30% of Alberta's economy is dependent on the US, so it makes sense they'd elect a premier who was a lobbyist for oil and gas companies and can cozy up to Trump. Side note, check out Kevin O'Leary over here looking like Danny DeVito and twins. Honestly, this explains so much.
He's so like O'Leary.
Probably the biggest bone of contention is equalization payments, a federal wealth redistribution system that ensures a consistent level of government services across provinces. Alberta is the largest contributor, due in no small part to its oil and gas industry. Quebec, on the other hand, takes way more in equalization payments, more than all other provinces combined. So for some, it feels like Alberta keeps writing big checks to Ottawa's favorite spoiled child while getting nothing in return.
So if you hear what that guy just talked about, that equalization payments, we're already like a step away from being a communist country in here. The only difference is the state doesn't own the industries, but the state's taking the profits out of the industries and divvying up equally across the province, and in a lot of cases, not even equally. Some provinces are just takers and others are givers. So you understand why Alberta's pissed off. I've lived in Alberta a couple of times. I could never get in with the people down there. I didn't like the province. I didn't like Calgary. I lived there twice. Once when I was a kid and once when I was an adult. Didn't like it either time. Democrats shut down Keystone. Exactly. The Democrats shut it down on the American side. We didn't shut it down. Canada's pretty much run on Alberta's oil shipper. Right? Yeah, I know what you're saying, no grow. That's what I mean. But we can't depend solely on the oil that we're sucking out of the sand in Alberta to finance our whole fucking country. It doesn't make sense. No, that can't be. Well, you can hear the bells from the mosque, 100%. You should see some of the size of the fucking mosque they have up and around Brampton and all that. But see, mosques and Indian people are not the same fucking people. You know what I mean? Indian people have their own religion, and, you know, Muslim is Muslim, right? Ex-Prince Andrew had a close relationship with Epstein. He certainly did. They were buddies. Well, because that's where it's coming from. The thoughts of the increased hate crimes towards Indians and South Asians, that's where it's coming from, is everyone's frustration with the government getting shittier and all the extra immigration that Trudeau signed up for without counting how many fucking houses were available for these people to fucking move into. I don't know how the fuck the guy can run a country and he can't add up how many empty houses there are and how many housing units are available compared to how many fucking people you're telling they should move here. Immigrants are good for the fucking economy, but we can't take them all from one fucking country. And we can't take more than we can fucking house or employ or all those fucking things. And you would have thought that was such common sense that any idiot could see it, but any idiot except for Trudeau could see it. Newfoundland, good to see you, bro. Oh, okay, you'll be back. I'll still probably be on. You worries about my bike yesterday in Alberta. It's not bad, my friend. You got some right. All violence is hate crime. No special laws needed. Well, yeah, I guess you're not going to hurt someone unless you hate them. If you look at it that way, you're right, Mark. If he doesn't have a tin sheriff badge, I'm not the Quebec's been sucking Alberta's tit for too long. Quebec just doesn't have any big industries, but they got 1 million trees up there, so they got to have some forestry industry in Quebec. And they got some beautiful, fast-flowing rivers that they could be sticking some hydro dams down those. And once the dam's paid for, it's free hydro. as long as it runs. I don't understand why they're not doing that. And sell our shit to the States. They need all the energy they can get. This Wolfsburg cowboy thinks just because he says it's real, take his hat and put his on no shy. I realize French people and new fees in Fort Mac. New fees. Okay. French are snivellers. Probably the whole Lone Ranger cap. I don't know. I think he's funny. I like, anyways, I haven't watched too many of his videos, and I don't think I've watched any of them to the end. But I'm gonna keep watching this one. We'll watch it out. See if he's got any good fucking things in there. He had a couple good things, but most of them I think I knew of already. That the separatists. But I want to see how he words it. To see if I agree that it is an American psyop. It's obviously got something to do with the Americans. Nomad Biker, thanks for dropping in, man. Oh, and Scrap Iron too. Good to see you too, bro. Howdy doody with a battery. Oh, that's funny, man. Here we got, and yeah, Nomads is coming. Yeah, with Jason Momoa's in it. Momoa, I don't know how the fuck you say it. I'll be watching it. 100% I will, man. The real must trade fairly in. First step is to jail the corrupt. That's the problem. The corrupt always win because they buy the fucking judges too. The fucking judges in America are elected. They don't elect them in Canada. There's no judges elected in Canada. You get put into that job because what you did on the bench prior to that was fair and by the law. Now they fucking elect them. Yeah, that's true. So the Americans own all the big sawmills and everything, and then they charge themselves a duty to take the product into America, which is why they bought the sawmills anyway. Because when America's on a building boom, they can't produce enough lumber to keep up with the building. Folks talking about the first time I'm thinking about is going to be able to watch the highlights reels, kill shots. No, I don't know what this was going to be. Like I say, they're calling it Nomads. I've got a feeling that it's going to be a whole new show. Calgary's way better than Edmonton. Yeah, I lived in Calgary twice. I've only been to Edmonton once for a week. You know what I mean? Yeah, our friend Scrap Iron all the way from North Carolina. Terry lost out on Street Copper, John Deere, and list goes on. Well, he's going to start up the copper mines again. I guess the people in Sudbury are pretty fucking excited about it. I don't think I'm the type of guy you could get me to work underground. So nuclear meth labs, that'd do it. A hydro bill delivery charge just doubled. Exactly, right? They keep doubling our things without building anything. Build some new fucking transition fucking lines. Build some new fucking hydro dams. Double the fucking output of Niagara Falls. You know what I mean? If you could put one row of turbines, why can't you put another one right under it? Double the fucking production. Let's go. Get it up. It's not too hard to figure out how to get more shit out of our country. Build the fucking roads up to the ring of fire. Let's get that shit out of the ground up there, man. The real Canadian Cowboys are found like Samby. I heard that the real Canadian Cowboys are like fucking hardcore cowboys. Fort Mac is a new capital of Newfoundland. Hey, you gotta pick the costume. You can't have a Texan in here. You know that? I didn't pick the costume. Holy fuck, yeah, $95 before any use just for delivery. Yeah, they do want us all broke. I don't know what the fuck they're doing right now. My whole rebar crew on my job site, there's no white guy on the whole crew. That scares me because I've seen how shit like that, you know? Fuck. Hey, the show, good to see you, man. Thanks for popping in. Poor Ontario's forward to piss away the Crown Royal industry because they sold the actual whiskey to France years ago. Exactly. This whole thing didn't just happen with that distillery, man. They sold that ages ago. So he's a hate crime. You only point your money in the face. show. New bike. The new bike show is based on New Zealand bikers. Well, I heard that they had some fucking I heard that they got some hardcore bikers over in that part of the world, man. New Zealand, Australia. Wish everyone go electric. Well, that's what I said about the heat pump thing. Gas is a more efficient way to heat our homes and our buildings. They just are finishing up Site D in the Fort. Yeah, that's going to be a big dam up there, and they're building another one just downriver from it. Be Canadian just at UBI. Let's all get high on some China dope and party like it's 2030. You know, nothing. I don't want to do rebar. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do rebar either. But like I say, it's a good fucking job for someone who's 22 and their hands aren't wrecked yet because it pays good.
Which is not exactly true. During COVID,
This guy's
with the collapse of oil markets, Alberta received by far the most in emergency benefits per capita. They even got $1 billion to clean up abandoned oil wells, keeping oil and gas workers employed. But still, the argument goes, Alberta would be better off without equalization. So you can see why resentment might build as the rest of Canada acts like, money please!
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
Then there's the narrative that the federal government is always getting in Alberta's way, which again is just code for getting in the way of the oil and gas industry. They point to the cancellation of the Northern Gateway Pipeline, the consumer carbon tax, the electric vehicle mandate, the tanker ban off the North BC coast, making us all eat bugs for every single meal, and worst of all, the government's environmental assessment law, often called the No More Pipelines Act. A bold choice, considering the government just finished a pipeline to the BC coast that cost taxpayers $34 billion, which we covered in a previous video. And now they're kicking the tires on yet more pipelines, including another one to the BC coast, with Alberta as the proponent. And if we can't get that pipeline done...
This is a Canada project. And this is a test of whether Canada works as a country. Because if we can't build with the collaboration of the federal government and between provinces, if it's everybody gets to get their products going to market except Alberta, that's not a country.
Exactly. If we can't force a pipeline through a neighboring province, then what the is even the point of Canada? It's high time someone thought about those poor multinational petroleum companies who just made record profits, are producing more than ever, and are cutting jobs like crazy thanks to automation. I say they've been pushed around by big local indigenous community for too long. In reality, oil sands production has more than doubled over the last quarter century thanks to billions of dollars you, the taxpayer, gave to these mega corporations because something, invisible hand, free market, etc. That's how Canada became the 4th largest petrostate in the world, and how our governments became addicted to those sweet, sweet royalties in every barrel. We're producing so much that we've basically hit capacity on how much we can move, until inevitably the price of oil drops and the industry goes from boom to bust. That's why they want more infrastructure now to lock in more production later and expand their bottom line in the future. At the same time, Canada has international commitments to lower our heat-trapping pollution, which we're already super failing at. Something has to give here. But this goes deeper to people's sense of identity. The primary goal of this psyop is to convince Albertans to identify with the fossil fuel industry specifically and the US more broadly. And I get it. Oil is part of Alberta's culture. That's why you named your hockey teams after the cause and consequence of climate change. But soulless companies are not part of our culture. They just leverage our culture for profit and gain. A bit like how Tim Hortons is part of our culture, but really owned by the same company that owns Burger King and Popeyes, and a big percentage of that is owned by a Brazilian private equity firm. Call me crazy, but I think Alberta is much more than an oil sands extraction operation, especially when oil sands production is 70% foreign owned. From the grasslands, to the lakes, to the mountains, to the farms, to the giant egg, and the giant mall with the submarines I never got to ride in because my dad said it was too expensive, and now they're gone forever. The real Alberta contains multitudes. Right now, a lot of folks in Alberta...
So that's a drag, eh? 70% of the oil is 70% is owned by foreign fucking companies anyway, man. What a fucking drag. Yeah, I'm gonna switch to wood heat when I get in my new place. Got a wood stove down there waiting on me. They want your broker hanging on, then they have to destroy the middle class. Yeah. Well, that's why they give us a mortgage, right? So that you're going to do what you're fucking told and go to work every day. Because if you miss a mortgage payment, then you miss another, and then all of a sudden you're fucking, they got you. That's how they sign you up, right? From a very young age. Got native friends, kick mat making, site finally done. And that was the other thing you mentioned, that little bit that we just watched. When these companies leave behind a great big fucking mess, our taxpayer dollars pay to clean the shit up. And when something runs dry and they move on to the next location, they don't look back. They don't ask, think the fucking ducks can live there? They don't care. They just pack up their shit and move to the next spot and start it over again. Hey, Lulu, thanks for dropping in. Good to see you this evening. Rough Riders. Oh, yeah, it's a Grey Cup tonight. It's a, I forgot about that. 22. Yeah, I believe that. I believe that. Fucking heat would kill me down there. I worked inside a grow up. I couldn't hang out under the lights, man. Would heat for me, Steve. Best one known to man. Right. I like it. It feels so fucking good too, doesn't it? You don't do man in there. Yeah. Frank, good to see you, brother. I always appreciate you dropping in. Thanks for being there this evening. Flying car touchdown in North Carolina this week. Before we knew it, we're looking at drone bikes. Won't be long, Scrap Iron. They need a fucking alien thing to get everyone to stop talking about the Epstein files. Maybe that's what he's going to do. Who's got what marked on this week's crazy shit to happen in the White House? I'm going to go with aliens. Aliens for 100, Alex. Yeah, more pipelines, not meth pipes. Exactly. Infrastructure's like your, yeah. And they sure as hell don't want to spend the money on it. Do you know how many coal-fired plants we have in Canada? Yeah, we need more oil and gas. Well, that's a problem, man. So we want rid of the oil, or the coal, and natural gas is more efficient. Then they want rid of the natural gas, and then they stick us over to hydro, and then they jack up the hydro rates like we were already talking about. It's a fucking big joke, man. The whole thing's just a big fucking cycle to keep everyone talking and looking and blaming and pointing fingers. You know what I mean? And then they know you're gonna die out. You're gonna go. You're gonna bitch and scream for 50 years, and then you're dead. And then your kids turn to bitch and scream for the next 50 years, right? Your Trans Mountain Pipeline is operating full capacity. It'll be nice when it is, I think, because like I said in a couple other shows, the natural gas is a byproduct of drilling, right? So we've got more natural gas than we will ever use in Canada. We may as well cash it in. May as well find a way to transport it and get it over to Europe and let them buy it. Yeah, they went over the mountains with our natural gas one, K-Wayne, or through the mountains or over the mountains. They went somewhere. And no wonder the First Nation people are pissed off. I wouldn't want a pipeline going through the middle of the woods either, but you got to give some to get some. It's just like when they do a hydroelectric dam, they're going to flood the vicinity where the dam's going to go. Everyone knows that. That's how they work. So you got to pick a spot that nobody lives at, that there's no sacred fucking things and stuff like that in graveyards, right? What is that? What the fuck's going on? Oh, it's my dog. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? 200 years ago, climate was 4 degrees higher than today. The talks death are all dead, and the climate group goes up 1 degree. So 200. Yeah, but 200 years ago, how do they have any record of what the temperature was 200 years ago? Like, were they keeping records then? Antarctica added over 1 billion tons of new ice, an indicator we're swinging in an ice age. Good. It's a 2-seater drone car. I would like to see that, Scrap Iron. 2 cannibals reading comedian, 1 2 Canada sells tampons to men's washrooms and military bases. What the fuck? How the alien chick that green chick that used to be in Star Trek. Yeah, man, she was all right. Trump going to attack Venezuela to forget it. So you got Venezuela. I got aliens. That's because menopause. Solar. I know. And you know what? They can make solar so much more affordable to us and stuff. What happened with Germany's try on solar? I would like to see one city that they try to do a city on renewable. Solar's on the homes, dams around the city, windmills around the city, and see if it can actually be done. I would love to see that. The band in Kamloops got paid huge money for the pipeline run through their land. You never know it was there. That's cool. And the band in Sarnia by the chemical factories, they get a yearly check to each member too, because those chemical factories aren't very fucking good for their health, right? Stop it. Can they pay Chandler shit? That might be it. That's so funny how people are all go crazy about trans people. I fucking think I've seen maybe one in my whole lifetime out in the wild. Like, if that's what they want to do, fucking I'll do it, man.
Alberta are struggling. I get why it's compelling to hear things suck for you because the rest of Canada sucks. Think about how much better you'd be if we made the rules and kept all the money instead of funding those woke, ungrateful idiots. Well, enter the Alberta Prosperity Project with their bold vision of what if more oil.
More oil. Whoa, they got a rocket.
Don't buy a new car, buy a used rental car instead. Hey, I know what you're thinking. That sounds
Oh, I don't want to. We got rocking tune. What is that? Crocus? Scorpions?
The Alberta Prosperity Project, or APP, is a nonpartisan nonprofit that uses their Envato Element stock account to inspire and unify all Albertans on the importance, necessity, and benefits of Alberta sovereignty. According to their website, Alberta sovereignty means freedom from persecution politically, economically, and culturally from federal control, as well as from the UK, Europe, China, the World Economic Forum, and the World Health Organization. I wonder why that list doesn't include the USA. I tried to find out where they get their money, and the best I could do was this section on their website called Who is Financing Us? Why isn't this transparent? Where they basically say it's private, so f*** off. So I don't know, maybe they're not getting their money from fossil fuel companies like Preston Manning and Daniel Smith's former chief of staff. Maybe they're getting it from an increasingly accelerationist David Suzuki. Now, the most vocal spokesperson for the APP is their lawyer, a guy named Jeff Rath, who was given several interviews in a cowboy hat. I mean, come on, dude. Who's going to take you seriously if you're wearing a cowboy hat? What?
We're in a situation now where, let's imagine that Alberta is a completely battered spouse who's been punched in the face repeatedly by an abusive husband, right? And for sake of argument, let's call that abusive husband, Mark Carney. Okay, so let's just imagine that, Carney is the abusive spouse. All he has to offer Albertans is a little box of chocolates. Oh, I'll give you an energy corridor. Oh, I'll do this for you. I might do that for you. Oh, no, but we're not going to kill the anti-pipeline bill. Oh, no, we're not going to change the specifications on rail tankers so that you can move, oil by train to Texas. Oh, no, we're not going to get rid of the carbon emission tax. Oh, no, we can never, ever give up on the idea that we can actually limit Alberta oil production by putting in production caps.
Now, am I the only one that thinks it's deeply weird to compare Alberta, the country's richest province per capita, to a battered wife suffering at the hands of a guy who dances like this to Down with Webster? Earlier this year, the APP released The Value of Freedom, their vision of a post-referendum Alberta, and in my humble opinion, this document is bananas. If I had to boil it down to one sentence, it would be oil solves everything. And luckily, oil never runs out. It all rests on tripling oil production and doubling gas production. Then they can finally achieve their utopian vision of a free Alberta as one of the lowest taxed and regulated nations in the world, rivaling jurisdictions similar to Dubai. Because when you hear the word freedom, you immediately think of a playground for billionaires full of useless aggrandizing mega projects built by literal slaves. Literal slaves? So let's pretend for a moment that Alberta becomes an independent country. First, you're probably wondering, what are they going to use for money? Well, according to the plan, they're going to temporarily adopt the US dollar. Temporarily. Don't worry, this is not a Trojan horse to make Alberta a permanent part of the MAGA empire. They definitely want to be independent forever, which is why Alberta will create their own currency, the Alberta dollar, which is going to be backed by oil, because of course it is, because oil solves everything, but also gold, and of course a strategic reserve of Bitcoin. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why not fart coin or hot to a girl coin or Trump's meme coin that allows him to take bribes with impunity? Well, because if they choose the cryptocurrency that consumes as much energy as the entire country of Poland, that just increases the value of their oil and gas. See? This is some 4D chess we're playing here. Next, remember the
So that's a crazy one. These guys are fucking backing things with currency that's fucking made up by some guy's imagination and a blockchain fucking thing on the internet. How's there any fucking monetary value to any of these cryptocurrency things? Yeah, they do like the big old fucking diesel trucks. So this guy Canada is buttless chaff salesman. I think he is, Gary. He could be. The rolling coal. American funds Canadian health. American funds Canadian healthcare is what I hear. Not sure what. No. How the fuck would America fund Canada's healthcare? Doesn't even make sense. Now we fund it. Be you are. I don't give a shit. I like me every day. Defense people. Yeah. We want to care what people. Exactly. Me too. Shut down green energy programs. We were worried that we were not going to get approval to sell energy back to the grid. Had to jump through hoops and finally approve. Yeah, I heard that too. And I heard a lot of people in Ontario that did finally get approval to sell it back to the grid. They made it such a pain in the ass that they just cut the fucking wires. And if they don't use it, they don't use it because they can only store so much. Now, I've never heard that, Gary. We pay for it. They tax us to fuck over here. We pay for it. Tell a bank teller you identify as a person. Yeah, exactly, Mark. Exactly. Fuck the green energy. We're bullshit carbon neutral country. Well, I don't know. It was pretty fucking hot out this summer, last summer, and only getting hotter. And look at all those fucking forest fires. I'd rather not see all them forest fires. And the lack of rain is obviously what's making those things burn like the sun, bitch. We had fire from one side of the country to the other side this summer. Since Diddy's locked up. Good one. That the restock. Yeah, there's restocking fees. That's what he is, Scrap Iron. He's a fucking stone train robber from a bad B movie. I've been trying to figure out what his outfit is, too. That says it right there. To change the rules so that only one question on the same subject can be approved. All right. These separatists got their question in first. Sue's approved. And now Danny cannot put one. So what's going to happen if they actually vote to separate? China pulled the real estate money wandering in the lower mainland along with the native claims. Should see how much real estate is going down the toilet there. It's big news. And that's in BC, eh, No Grow? Maybe I'll move to BC for next week's video. Because I know China really fucking invested heavy in real estate in British Columbia over the years. Diddy's an oil baron, yeah, man. You think he's getting out? I heard that a couple of the gangs in there want him. So we should buy water bombers and not send our money to gender reassignment education in Afghanistan for real. Yeah, and I don't think that those things that fucking Tucker Carlson says where the money's going to are real. Nothing makes sense with the America gives out money to all those, and really it's American taxpayer. Well, I don't know either. It's the craziest thing on sending money down to fucking Argentina and then gaslighting that everything's down in price. It's fucking insane. Yeah, as soon as they hit a certain fucking amount of money where they know they're good, they don't fucking look back and worry about where they came from or if the middle class could use a hand or any of that bullshit. To see the Tower Street side pulled $700 million project off. Huh. Treaty land will be a huge issue. Fuck yeah. But like when I even 25, 30 years ago, when I went out to Whistler, most of that shit was all bought up already by Chinese and Japanese people, because Japanese people really love skiing. Yeah, when the middle class is gone, then what do they got? Then it's going to become a true socialist country where everybody gets the same fucking check every month and everyone lives in the same fucking house down the street. A big row of fucking houses. The only thing different is a number on the front. And there's how much you got to go buy yourself some food and fucking blah, blah, blah. And if you can't make it, too fucking bad. And they'll already have sucked cash out of the system by then, too. Trying to Mad Max this country. I'm getting like, yeah, we gotta wait till summer, bro. Forest fires were set in BC. We watched them set the fire at night at the end of the valley. Almost burned us out, but locals fought for weeks without government help. Cops were arresting us for food. Fuck yeah. I couldn't imagine that being in the middle of that fire. Couldn't imagine that. Tax the rich, feed the poor till they're in a rich no more. Exactly, Mark. Go through 2 different border checks. Yes, I will never get back to BC because fuck the border. The blatant disrespect and disregard for the law and speed limits and stop signs. I want to make 60 days after all goes to shit. If I make 60 days, yeah, you'll probably be God Emperor of Texas. Fuck yeah. We didn't send 20 billion to Argentina. We bought 20 billion of their currency. Is that any different? Was that to prop up their dollars so it didn't collapse? We got smoked out also last summer here in Michigan, last summer from the Canadian fires. Yeah, man. We had overcast days for weeks on end because of those fires happening up northern Ontario. And usually they get some fires in northern Ontario, but not like that. My opinion, what's happening in the U.S. right now, very wealthy and the rest is struggling. Right. All the money's going to go to a certain amount of people, and that's not going to work. It's going to collapse. It has to collapse. But they think that they've got it figured out with automation, etc. And like I say, there's going to be checks. There's going to be fucking guaranteed income. Got fire evacuated twice, eh? That'd be a bummer. What about that other town in the interior of BC that fucking flooded? It flooded right out. Go Liberals, NDP, and Green Party. China has manipulated BC real estate for many years. It's a bloody mess. Now they're fucking with Southwestern. Oh, yeah, Southern Ontario. You can't buy a fucking house down here no more. I know when they auction mine, when the bank auctions mine, it'll go for cheap, but I'm not going to leave anything in it. I might even take the furnace with me, for fuck's sake. So I'm pissed off now. I missed court because the highway was closed. This is May's Green Party, and she's a drunken skank. Some are closer than advertised. Yeah, they were pretty close to you guys in the Kawarthas too, weren't they, Steve? 100% they were. I'm just trying to move to the mountains and terrify me some feral people. Maybe catch a Mothman. That'd be the answer. All right, do you want to see what the last of this guy's video?
Those First Nations treaties I told you about? Well, the APP says they're going to stop the $1.8 billion in payments from the federal and provincial governments to the 48 First Nations and 8 Métis settlements in Alberta. Why? Because they want to shift the approach from government dependency to self-determination by allowing them to control their lands in perpetuity. Does that mean they're going to give all of the land back? No, the sovereign independent country of Alberta also claims Alberta's crown land. However, they say they will give a small fraction of that crown land back in addition to subsurface mineral rights. So, now that your First Nation has no financial security, have you considered letting oil companies frack your land for money? What a fair and completely equal bargaining position to be in. They estimate First Nations will be able to bring in between $1 and $2 billion annually, so potentially way less than the $1.8 billion they're already getting now. But hey, freedom! The APP says they have the utmost respect for the sovereign and Indigenous people of Alberta and is in no way intended to replace or diminish treaty rights. They also go on to propose some ideas they think might redress generations of harm from the Canadian government. If they really take sovereignty seriously, Indigenous communities will be able to say no to new fossil fuel infrastructure on their land and answer the Canadian government currently has a hard time accepting. So I guess the only way to find out if this isn't another bait and switch from a different settler colonial government is to vote for Alberta independence. I'm sure you can trust that an independent Alberta will repair the historic injustices of Canada's racist past/present while doubling down on extraction. Now, let's take a look at their plan to conduct mass deportations of immigrants.
That's funny. They call it crown land when they want to keep it, but they're separating from the fucking crown. So they don't really got this fucking this thing figured out yet, do they? I should make a comic book. That'd be a good one. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They don't care if you say yes or no when they want to frack. They got angle drilling, man. Yep. That's how it worked in the Appalachians all them years ago, is it? That would be a good comic.
To get the right people moving to their newly independent country, the Alberta Prosperity Project has an immigration point system that prefers natural-born Canadians over naturalized citizens. And they also want to purge a bunch of immigrants let in during the extremely unsatisfactory policies implemented by Canada since 2015, with mass deportations that prioritize post-2015 arrivals. Most of the people who came to Canada around that time are from India. So is this just code for we're kicking out all the brown people Justin brought in to work at Sing Hortons? No, that would be racist. They're just preferencing like-minded Canadian brothers and sisters because they understand Canada and its winters and have at least a fighting chance of being able to drive acceptably on snow and ice. Apparently, this is entirely to do with driving. So maybe also deport assholes who park their trucks like this? Does having a driver's license get you immigration points? No. But coincidentally, the Alberta government just put citizenship markers on their driver's licenses. So is this a real step towards ICE-style mass deportations? Or just some bull to get Maple MAGA wet? You decide. While they admit their deportation plan may disrupt certain sectors like agriculture and construction, and mass removals could alienate communities, and automatic deportation may violate human rights, that's not stopping them from trying to make it happen. But perhaps my favorite detail about this whole point system thing is that you get 10 points for having no serious illness, but that doesn't count if you've had experimental mRNA injections. So bonus points if you're an anti-vaxxer. It's all part of their new ad campaign. Come to Alberta and be free to get measles, mumps, rubella, meningitis, and who knows, maybe even polio, smallpox, and Ebola. Just give it time. But apparently, becoming the disease capital of the world isn't the only record they're going for. For those seeing and breathing this summer, your eyes and lungs probably confirm to you that climate change is a problem. And scientifically speaking, Alberta going all in on oil and gas would be nothing short of a catastrophe and an insult to life itself. In fact, Alberta would literally become the pollution capital of the world. Remember, the plan to turn the province of Alberta into the People's Petropia of Tarsandistan rests on tripling oil production and doubling gas production over the next 20 years. And that means more pipelines through the US because we sure as shit ain't building those in Canada if they leave. The APP estimates infrastructure investments at $300 billion, which is a lot to put on Afterpay. But thanks to energy transitions, demand for oil will probably peak within 5 to 10 years. So oversupply might cause the price of oil to collapse. Bye-bye pipe dreams. You could reasonably present this plan on Dragon's Den and get an
I'm out.
I'm out. And I'm out.
I'm out.
I can't make any money here, so I'm out.
Kevin was a bully. He kept going on about having sex and that wasn't what I wanted to come in for.
But let's pretend they're able to triple oil and double gas production. How bad is that for the environment? First, there's the tailings ponds, an industry euphemism for giant toxic sludge lakes, left over from using river water to blast bitumen off sand. The APP says relaxing environmental regulations may increase healthcare and environmental remediation costs, e.g. tailing pond cleanup, estimated at $130 billion. And that's just tailings ponds today. Now imagine how much it would cost if you triple production over the next 20 years. Steam cleaning millions of tons of sand takes energy, which means burning an unbelievable amount of fossil.
Woo! So they want to triple the output. I don't think this plan's going to go through. Where's Barbie? Do you think that plan's got a shot? They want to triple all the output of all the petroleum products, eh? They have started ice-type raids in Calgary last few weeks. Well, maybe it is going to go through. Do hate fracking, though. Bastards don't have any rules except for the ones that penalize you. Yeah, when you saw those people setting their tap water on fire, you knew there might be something more to the story. I like to learn as much as I could school because they have recess. Yeah, me too. The skinny cigarettes are always the way to go. Join Mountain Munsters and head to West Virginia. It's all there. Sounds like a good thing to do. Big Jesus diesel trucks. There's one right in that guy's video, man. Now, how does our tax dollar pay their salary, bro? Oh, that's not true. I think I heard that one about the guy that was doing human trafficking, and he was bringing them over here and making them work at all these different fast food restaurants and then keeping their fucking pay and calling it an employment agency, man. You guys are retarded. Like you need to rewatch some Eastwood and pick better duds. That's amazing. Yeah, I know, man. I can't believe that the anti-vaxxers let measles come back. Give me a beer. All this drinking is making me thirsty. I saw Barbie the Rise of shit. We basically had whipped in Canada here. It's so stupid, man. Pipelines to the BC coast and tankers heading to China. That's where it's all going. China wants everybody's energy. They can't produce enough of their own. I don't know why they just don't build a fuckload of nuclear reactors over in China. If they want energy that bad, fucking make it yourself. Now, Scotch is so choosy. Put mail on the neighbor's windshield and footprints around. Oh, here we go. I work for Fort Mac. Slow to shit. Turn this garbage off. That's funny, man. This broke back liberal probably likes. No. Duke's ass or mail. Yeah, there's tons of methane in the ground already. So I say, and that's a big component of natural gas is methane, right? There's methane and a couple other kind of things in there that make what we call liquid natural gas that we use for heating and cooking and shit. I know because that's my specialty. So the methanes, there's tons and tons of it. We burn it off. We literally burn it off in the oil fields and at the oil pump things, right? I don't think I can watch the rest of this guy. I don't know if it's a psyop or not. Although he's got some points. He's got some points. Personally, I don't think that Alberta will separate. I hope that what usually happens with Canada and separatists is the cooler heads come along. Oh, that is fucking wild. And they just go back to, okay, you know, we got to make some changes. Guaranteed we got to make some changes. Run some more pipelines. Guaranteed they're going to run some more pipelines. Carney doesn't want to do the pipelines first because everyone accused him because he owns pipelines in America, or some equity firm that he's a part of owns pipelines in America. So he didn't want to come out of the gate and say, bam, let's get more pipelines, or everyone would have said he was a big fucking fraud or a scammer or whatever, right? All politicians are big frauds and scammers. Doesn't fucking matter who it is. He's just another one. They're not going to do what's best for us until the wheels have almost fallen off. And there's going to be a whole bunch of people in foreclosure, whole bunch of people fucking homeless, whole bunch of people unemployed. And then all of a sudden they're going to say, oh, fuck, maybe we should do that and fix a couple sectors. It's what they do all the time. It's what politicians do. They lie and get away with the least amount of promises that they can get away with, right? No grow, yeah, bro. But yeah, man, I don't blame you. No grow. thanks for stopping in. And I'm going to probably wrap this thing up anyway. Bobby, great to see you. I appreciate you popping in and checking it out. And yeah, that's my thoughts. Doesn't matter left, right, Republican, Democrat, PC, liberal. It's all the same fucking shit. You must fight to keep it. Problem is, Mark, who are we fighting anymore? It's hard to say the fuck's fighting who. The people that are fucking us over, we can't get to them. It's a layer, it's a stack, you know. It's a corporation working in conjunction with a lobbyist who's buying a politician who's fucking feeding that guy too. It's all mixed up. And that's how they want it. So nobody can get to the bottom of who the real fucking piece of shit is. Right? Yeah, we'll do that soon, bro. We'll do that. I got some ideas for some new shows, and I think I'm gonna. Anyways, I got some ideas. We're gonna have some fun this summer with this winter with the shows until the summer comes. You know what I mean? Spurs the jingle, jangle, jangle. So we currently have 2 recall petite res collecting signature. Another 8 approved, and another 5 or 6 getting the paperwork. The majority here is standing up. Good. And we'll swing back around after, because I think they're going to have a referendum at the very least. That's my belief. So we'll swing back to Alberta after they have the vote, right? We're ready, Mark. As soon as we get the vote to stop getting trans Canada, we come Muslim and peace will come to Canada. Yeah. Politicians pay criminals. You got that? Thanks, Grant. I appreciate that, bro. And thank you, Steve. Sometimes it's just as much fun to have a laugh here. Yeah, but see, to say the leftists are the communists is just another fucking... It's just another one thing that they like to shout, right? Thank you, K. Wayne. Thank you, Scrap Iron. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. We'll get back to the biker shit tomorrow night. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate talking with you guys too. I really do. Not much, Bobby. We're just wrapping up a little one here on Alberta. Is America is it a psyop trying to get Alberta to separate and bring their oil, become the 51st state? Let's hope that shit doesn't go down like that. Our country needs to stay united, man. Yeah, good, Mountain Woman. Well, because we all got to be able to talk and fucking get our ideas out there. And thanks, No Girl. I appreciate you too, brother. You know what I mean? Without arguing. Say what you got to say. Fucking right. That's what I want to hear. All right. Love you guys all. Thank you so much. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out, eh? And we'll do politics again next weekend. That's Sunday. And we'll get back into the biker news Monday to Friday. All right. Be safe, everyone. Stephen Fraser, you got that right, bro. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate you joining us. Sunday nights, usually around 8-ish, I do a political show. Only on Sundays, but you're welcome to stop in. 2 cents, 3 cents worth. And yeah, I know, Mark, it's all poison. Okay. Again, good night, guys. Much love. See you tomorrow.